All right, let's talk Snakeside for the Mid-Atlantic Major 2024 NXL event in Atlantic City. Before we get started, thank you to ProEdge for sponsoring this video. They have been a huge support of the channel, so please support those that support the channel and click the link in the description down below. And there's a whole bunch of deals down there for you, so you can get the best deal on all your equipment from ProEdge. And also, there's a little code down there, so you can get a discount on some stuff from them too. So thank you to ProEdge and the whole team there for all their support. So if you haven't watched the video on the other sections of the field, the Dorito side, the middle, and possible bounce shots, be sure to check those out so you can get the whole first impressions here on the layout. So let's start off on the back and move forward on the snake side. So this Aztec, I think is going to be helpful to shoot Dorito way, but I think you're going to be best suited to support your snake and also use this as a way to get into the snake. Now, if the Dorito side needs help, you do have that shot, but it's such a far shot that they can wrap, put you in, and then be able to dive across. So if you're helping out your Dorito player, awesome. But I think it's gonna be better if you are shooting more to support your snake. Now, the thing with this field is that you're shooting kind of blind into the snake. I think you might be able to drop over the top of this brick and have it come down. They might still be able to get around those. So this might be more of a transition bunker to get into the snake, not necessarily one that you're gonna be supporting them, but I don't know, it's going to be hard to say without us actually getting into the layout. And then of course you can shoot heads up into your mirror. Now, something that is good with this is that if someone does try to do the big, it's a big risk, big reward, is coming around this outside snake. If they can get in unseen and crawl all the way down, they have pretty much everyone's backs. Like it's ridiculous how many shots they can get. But there is nothing protecting you. So if someone sees you do that and they're here, they just shoot up over the top and they will clip you coming around here, or can just run out and shoot down the wire, and there's nothing protecting you. So it's going to be very difficult to stay alive, but big risk, big reward. But yeah, so if you're coming here to support your snake player, just know that you're not necessarily going to be able to do a whole lot, because if they... Looking at this more, I think that they are going to be able to stay low enough to come around the snake, snake one, and stay out of the way of the wing here. Just as the paint drops in, I just think it's going to be, I don't know, I think it's going to be kind of difficult to shoot past there and really be able to help. I'm sorry, that you'll not be able to support them as much to stop the opposing snake player. This little W isn't bad. I think you can shoot up over the top blindly into this other little wing. But the heads up shot, I'm sorry, the outside shot, I think will be okay on this wrap. So you have a couple bunkers that can shoot that outside. If you haven't watched the other videos, make sure you do that, so that way you can see some of the other ones that do that. Shooting heads up, you do have a shot into this Aztec. It's not a guaranteed shot because it's pretty much head up. It's not like if they roll off a little bit, they're safe. They're going to be completely fine. The outside shot, you can support the Dorito a little bit into the Dorito 1 to 2 and then the 2 to the 50. Again, my Dorito players, if you haven't watched the Dorito side video, really need to watch out for these gaps. I think it's going to be you can't softly go into the next bunker, you have to dive in hard. I think it's going to be a very aggressive move that you have to make it across these gaps. So it's just one of those things that the snake players can maybe capitalize on, is that the snake looks like it's going to be a faster side than the Dorito side. Maybe not necessarily off the break. I think the Dorito side might have some bigger runs off the break, but that's why we go and shoot at each other on the weekend. So getting into the snake, you can see how crazy this gets. So actually in this outside snake, you can stop here and wrap. The issue is that you're playing the outside of a little W. So it's not going to be easy to do. So you have shots that are going across into that Aztec. You can wrap a little bit more. You really need to live behind your gun, because if they know that you're here and you have to stop here, there's not a whole lot of places that you can go. I mean, you can try to stay low and crawl and come up into, I'm going to call this the snake 2. But this outer snake, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be some other shots that I haven't seen that can drop into here. So you're playing this outside section and you might get stuck, but I like I'd mentioned before, if you can get out here and then just get in and crawl all the way down and they don't see you, and you have someone that's able to support you from, they can shoot this outside section so that nobody can run out wide to shoot at you, you can come here and shoot everyone in the snake and then shoot across and shoot into a lot of the middle and also into the Dorito side. But what you're going to see more of, I think, is people getting into this little zipper zigzag thing. So the Dorito one, same thing. You can shoot into the Dorito. I'm sorry, the snake one can shoot into this Dorito gap. If you guys haven't caught on, this gap is very difficult. It's going to be a big gap to get through. Shooting into the into this zone as well. It's not necessarily to eliminate anyone in the bunker, but if they're trying to make a move across, then you can shoot into that if you need to hold a zone, and then wrapping, you can shoot into the brick. But once you get into the snake 2, it might actually be good just to bypass the snake 2. At least from what I'm seeing here, when you get into the snake 2, you have 2 shots. And maybe you can pop the top or whatever, but it seems kind of unnecessary to stop here when you can just crawl and go all the way up into the 50 snake. And I put a star here because I think it's going to be pretty good to get into here, because if you can play the wrap, use this brick to block you out from some drop shots. Of course, you have to be careful of the Aztec, but if this guy isn't here, you can wrap this and start to shoot into a lot of different players. So you start shooting into the sides of more players, which then will allow you to then get into their snake 2. Now, when you get into their snake 2, that's when you open up, you can see these block lines, just how much shots or how many shots you can do. Remember, all of these they can do back to you. So it's not necessarily that these are all free kills, but this is still something to remember. Or if you really wanted to, and probably the better move is if no one is, you know, you get in here unseen and you can come around and you have someone behind you that is stopping the snake move, get into their snake 1. That's when you can really pull up and eliminate a lot of the Dorito side, a lot of the middle, and get into just a very good spot. Maybe catch a few bodies and then maybe trade with someone. And then once you've taken off, you know, 3 or 4 players, it's a 4-on-1 at that point, ideally. So you're really able to do a lot of damage. So from what I'm seeing on this layout, I think it's going to be the Dorito side is the first punch. And then the middle and the Dorito side are, I'm sorry, the snake side is, I can talk, don't worry. The snake side is going to be the side that is the first punch. And those are the guys that really break things open. And then the middle and the Dorito side are going to be able to go to work after that. Now, how you protect the snake, I think that's going to be the difficult part. Will it be someone in the middle, just keeping them out of the snake? Because even if you put 2 players in the snake, it's not like you can protect each other because you see how you can't even shoot down the wire or down the middle of the snake here. So it's not even like you can get into a spot that you can lay down and protect your snake and let them go to work. It's just difficult. So I don't think that putting 2 players in here is necessarily the worst idea, but it might be better suited if you have them in some of the other bunkers that then they can filter up into, but it also depends on where they're at, because we saw that this Aztec isn't fantastic, but if they're further up the field, if you have a player further up the field and you can wrap and really control some of these other bunkers from being able to get out, then yeah, it's going to be good. But if they're already wide, you're kind of just battling heads up. So it's going to be interesting to see how is it that you can actually benefit the most from this snake side, but I still think that the snake side is going to be your bigger punch, and then the other sides, or I'm sorry, the other Dorito side or the middle are going to be your secondary. But tell me what you think in the comments down below. Sorry for the weird breaks, my camera kept overheating, so I had to stop and wait for it to cool off. But yeah, thank you to ProEdge again for sponsoring this video, and as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.